Hello, hello. Welcome to Change by Choice. My name is Charlotte Fro, and I am here hopefully going to guide you through some amazing questions to help you understand where your time is going and what is really robbing your productivity. And so, essentially that's what we're going to do today is I'm going to talk about a few different realms in terms of productivity. But I'm going to leave you guys with some questions to ask yourself. A place where you could really dig in just a little bit deeper and see, what's taking your time? Where is your time going? I always think about we all have the same 24 hours in the day. We all do different things. Some people use their time extremely well and other people don't. Other people seem to sometimes be in a place that they're just so busy and they just don't ever have time. Thing is, with time, we generate it. We generate it by the decisions that we make, and primarily based on our clarity for what it is that we're working towards, what our goals are, what our priorities are. So the more clear that you can be in life, and the more attention you put to some of those disciplines that help you create that safety net for you to be the most productive that you can be, then you're going to be able to do more, generate more time, and really be accountable to yourself in terms of, where your time is going and where you're spending it, because it's all about the small choices that we're making every single day, right? And that's the difference between being in the driver's seat of our life versus just allowing life to just happen to us. Constantly being in reaction, always fighting fires. The same thing can apply whether you're looking at your personal life or you're looking at, your time within your job. Are you moving that needle forward? Do you know when to say no? That's a huge piece. So as we're walking through this, I want you to ask yourself some of those questions. Hopefully you're journaling something down, writing yourself some notes, because these are key questions that you can ask yourself when you're carving in some reflection time. That's your time. So first thing that we're going to go through is, do you have a solid morning routine? Are you already starting your day in reaction? Or are you being proactive? So some of you might think why does that matter? I need more sleep, or, I get all the bare necessities done before I leave the house. Okay, that's great. But how you start your day really is how your day is going to go. That's you're setting the tone and the pace for your day. You're also setting the priorities. If you're putting yourself as a priority first thing in the morning, guess what? You're more likely to make more choices like that during the day. If you allow yourself the time and space in the morning to be able to get certain things done so that you can fill yourself up, so that you can tackle your day with less stress, then you're more likely to make those choices during your day. But if you start your day and you're already in reaction, you're constantly behind the ball, it's already stressful, you have no time for yourself, you're not eating properly, and then you expect your day to just be seamless, right? It doesn't make sense. So think about, what's one change that you could make in your morning routine? Could you wake up just a little bit earlier? Or if you are waking up earlier, could you add something in that is really you focused? So that could look like, doing some meditation, having some writing time, some reflection time, really putting into motion, certain accountability layers for yourself. And that could look like not grabbing your phone first thing in the morning, not going straight to email, not going onto social media, right? Give yourself an hour for you to better yourself. So why it matters, I want you to think about your mindset, right? Our minds are like a sponge. And how we start, that process in our day, you want it to be positive, strong, forward moving. Because then that's going to be how you look at the day, what you attract into your day. If you start off and you're, filling your brain up with garbage and watching the news and just unless that's connected to your work, but just positioning it in a way that's sad or negative, protect your space in the morning. Not saying you'll never watch the news again, but do it later on. But in the morning, and that really defines those that do it, protect that space of theirs. They don't just start getting pulled into, a negative mindset. It takes a lot of hard work to keep your thoughts strong and positive. And so that's why those habits and those disciplines that you add in help you move that needle forward. Right? So are you eating like a really, good breakfast? Are you setting your body and your brain up for success? Are you already throwing sugar at your body, too much caffeine? Again, you might be like, oh, that's kind of silly, but it's not. Because your body is your tool. And if you're not setting it up well, but you're expecting it to perform at a really high level, then you've got to feed it properly. And you've got to position yourself in a way that you're going to be able to make that happen. Right? So audit yourself. Where are you at? What could you do? Just one thing different in this next week and do it consistently to see if you start to feel some changes. Right? So start with that morning routine. So another piece, right, is learning how to time block in your day. Look at your day. Break it down. What are the non-negotiable pieces that can't move? That could be appointments that you have. It could be your job, set hours of your job depending on what it is that you do. It could look like, protected time, self-care time. When are you working out? All those things that at the end of the day, you're like, oh, I didn't have time to do it. Oh, I wish I had. You have to protect that space. That's how you generate the time. So you didn't get it done because you didn't protect your space, which means that you didn't put yourself first. And it could just be like 10, 15 minutes. It could be 20 minutes. But your body will reward you for the choices that you make that protect, that will end up protecting your body. You will then, be able to have the endurance, the stamina, the vibrancy to be able to tackle your week, not just make it through the week. I'm talking about energized in your week. And I guess it depends on how you want to show up for yourself. Are you okay with just making it through the day, hoping that it's just going to work out, wishing you had more time? Getting to the end of the day feeling really bad about yourself because you didn't get this done or this done and you don't have energy and you're not feeling well. Does that feel good to you? Well, if it doesn't, and you're not getting the right result out of life and you wish that it were different, then something has to change. And yes, it looks like work, right? It looks like, changing things so that you are getting the right result. Look, everything in our life that we do, it's either, getting us closer to where we want to be, to being our best self, or it's pulling us away. So you're either doing acts of kindness and love to yourself and setting yourself up in a win-win situation, or you're doing harm or acts of of hate or of hurt to yourself. If you just ask yourself those questions every time you go to do something, you're going to start to acknowledge where you're at. You might find that wow, I do more acts of hurt to myself than I do kind acts to myself. Why is that? Again, these are some of the crucial questions you can start to ask yourself to be able to see, where am I truly at? I say I love myself, but do I? So I'm literally putting myself in a position where I'm completely stressed out. I have no habits or disciplines in place. My life is not functioning the way that I want it to. And then the bigger question is your desire to change that greater than your desire to stay the same? But if you stay the same, don't expect things to be better. Don't expect them to get different. Maybe expect them to get worse. Is that really what you want for yourself? You know, ask yourself the tough questions. Because on the other side of carving out that habit of finding out, like, okay, now that I'm seeing some of these things that I'm applying, you know, start to be more consistent, I'm starting to feel different. I'm generating more time. I'm becoming more clear. I'm a little bit more calm. Isn't that like the end goal? Be a little bit more happy, a little bit more calm, have a little bit more peace, create our life, you know, really connect to the goals that we have. It's important. You know, we have one chance at this, right? And each moment counts. And on the other side of that moment is if you can just make another choice. So it's essentially we're getting a blank slate every single day. What are you doing with that blank slate, right? It's time to just start doing, not just thinking, doing, acting, one thing, one change. So another thing, you know, I've talked about on past podcasts as well is your ability to say no. So your productivity is not just the sum of some of these habits and these layers that we do consistently in our life, but they are also where we decide to put our thought, how much time we put into things, how much energy. So time and energy and productivity really connect together, right? And so I want you to think about it. How long do you get stuck in your head with those negative, naysaying thoughts? Get stuck in situations that don't feel good? Do you have the ability to coach yourself outside of that, to get yourself out of doubt, back in focus, clear towards what it is that you're working towards? And think about it, you know, write it down. It's important. You know, things are always thrown at us, constantly having different situations, right? Positive things, negative things, things that feel good, things that feel bad. But it's how we move through that. It's how we choose through that that really matters, right? So, you know, that being said, starting to learn how to say no. Use it every single day. And then in terms of using your voice in that way, you know, you're lining that up. It's not just saying no for the sake of saying no. It's you're saying no because it's not getting you to where you need to be. You know, you don't feel good about that thing. Maybe you don't love the conflict of saying no, but you know what? At the end of the day, you're honoring yourself and you're honoring that other person or that situation. Because if your heart's not in it and you just move forward with it, you're not going to feel great about it. So is that really mutually beneficial? No. Do things that you're connected to. Understand why you're moving forward with it. Understand, you know, why you feel connected to doing it. And once you do it, you've chosen that. You don't get resentful for it, right? Because you made the choice. And that part's tough because sometimes you will move forward and you'll decide to help somebody out or to go and do something that maybe you just don't really want to do, but you're like, no, this is something that means something to me because helping that person is something that I want to do. Then don't go and complain about it after and get upset about it after and get resentful, right? Because you chose it. Own your choices. These are all pieces I want you to read into that help you stay the course in terms of, you know, keeping your eye on the prize in terms of your life, understanding that you have a choice every single day, every moment of every single day. And don't let that go. You're in the driver's seat. That's the most powerful place to be in. There's always going to be something that's a distraction. There's always going to be something that's going to try and knock you down. Could be a person, situation, whatever that might be, thought process that's coming from your own head that you need to simmer it down and start to like grow through it. So your job is to stay focused, to move through things with grace, to protect your space, to honor yourself, to look at where could you be more productive. The most amazing thing with productivity is that when you have certain layers of accountability or, disciplines that you've put in, like time blocking or, creating lists for yourself, then you're essentially telling your body, like, I've got you. You don't have to keep all that chaos in your head. Why? Because it's organized. You have a safety net that's there. Your job is to just be consistent with it and to stay true to it, to acknowledge the great things that you've done. That's your job. And if you're like, I'll do it for a little bit, then stop. Okay, that's great. But you'll never get to that next layer. You'll never get to that next level. And the reward that you will feel, you will see impact through everything. Not only your performance, your calmness, your peace, your relationships. It's, you'll see it trickle out. You're giving yourself a gift by being more organized, by being more disciplined. And you're your most important project. So if you're not doing any of these things, you're not taking care of yourself, you're not working out, you don't have that self-care component, you don't have any routines, you're just allowing yourself to just try and make it through the day, don't be surprised, with getting sick or with getting anxiety or, just getting stressed out, hitting burnout, unraveling. So be proactive. Set yourself up for success. As always, I put lots of tips on my Facebook page, Charlotte Furrow Change by Choice. You can find me on my blog or my website, charlottefurrow.com. And you can always send me messages. If there's topics that you want me to speak to, send me messages. And thank you so much for joining me and supporting me. And I hope that you guys have an amazing week coming up. Just make this week just a little bit more productive, right? Make one change. Commit yourself to make one change. That's it. And be consistent with it. Cool? Take care, everyone.